Episode 8. Jeez, we're 8 episodes into this. Oh, Batman Begins Forever. And I cannot tell you how funny that is internally. It's your boy Icon with a little DC animated TV, and this was probably one of the funniest episodes I've seen in a long time. And the episode starts where Bruce Wayne has been kidnapped. Because in the last episode, Harley had kidnapped him from his own party so they could torture him and find out where Frank is. So while they're torturing him, they can't crack him because he's Batman and, he's too stoic. And then, he's just like, you're not going to kill me, Quinn, because dead men tell no tale. So now they don't know how to interrogate him so they can get the information and find Frank. So they go back to an old foe because now that the Joker is mayor, which still isn't being addressed by the Bat family, now that the Joker is mayor, he's set up like reform programs or something. And then, Dr. Psycho, he ends up being a part of like a product of that rehabilitation program. So Dr. Psycho, he's doing a radio show now. And while he's doing a radio show, it was a podcast or whatever, Harley and Ivy show up. They tell him, listen, bring your ass down here because we need your help in order to rescue Frank. So they bring him down. They present him before Bruce Wayne. He sees Bruce Wayne and he's like, hell's to the nah. He's like, I'm not doing this. And then they talk him into it. He said he will only help them with the whole Frank thing if Harley agrees to be on his podcast, which he says whatever to. So his ingenious plan is he's going to, because he has psycho power, like mind, telepathy. He has Xavier X powers. He ends up putting everybody except King Shark into the mind of Bruce Wayne. And Bruce Wayne knows he's about to do this. And Bruce Wayne being Bruce Wayne and protecting himself the only way Bruce Wayne can, I like to think that he shielded his mind in a way that prevented them from actually accessing his true memories. So when they get into his mind, the funny thing is the way Bruce Wayne's mind looks, it looks exactly like the 1990 animated Batman animated series, which I thought was freaking awesome. So it's just like it has the red skies and the tall buildings and everything, but it also takes place on the night that Bruce's parents got murdered. When they see Bruce and his parents coming out of the theater watching The Mark of Zorro, Clayface was the only one that was actually very excited about this because he's playing Thomas Wayne in the biopic. And then he realized that Thomas Wayne had a mustache, and then he was just trying to get some information from him. So they're following him so they can try to find out. Well, actually, at that point, Harley was just like, Harley and Ivy, they were just like, okay, so we know his parents died. This isn't news. Let's go find a different memory. When they try to go look for a different memory, they keep being brought back to the same memory of Bruce's parents getting killed. And then that's when Dr. Psycho said that this was such a traumatic experience for him. He's basically trapped his own mind. And I feel like Bruce did this on purpose. He trapped his own mind in an endless mind loop where he's blocked out his subconscious to all his other memories, and he keeps replaying this one memory over and over and over and over again. So they don't know how they're supposed to break through this. But then Harley, I guess her tender side kicked in for a moment, and after watching Bruce's parents get shot over and over and over again, Harley decided to try to change things up for a little bit, and instead of just letting his parents get killed, she actually jumped in front of the bullet and tried to save his parents, from the murder, which didn't work because, again, this is his memory, so that's going to happen. So then his parents ended up getting killed, but then Harley grabbed Bruce, like child 8-year-old Bruce, and she ran off with Bruce to protect Bruce. And then suddenly, I think I missed this part, Ivy and Dr. Psycho and Clayface got transported out of the memory. And then that's when Dr. Psycho said that Bruce had locked his mind, and the only person his subconscious is allowing to continue in his mind is Harley. But he doesn't know why. So now they have to sit and wait for Harley to get herself out. Because like he said, if Harley dies in Bruce's mind prison, then she's also going to die in real life. So now Harley's running around Gotham, the animated series. She's running around trying to protect 8-year-old Bruce Wayne. And then while she's trying to protect him, he ended up talking to her. And then he's just like, oh, I'm trying to run from the shadows. Or he's like, all I see is darkness or whatever. Then they fall into the sewer system. They see bats. The two of them have a conversation where Bruce is like, oh, I don't trust you because you're a clown and I don't trust clowns. And then she's just like, well, I'm not that type of clown. And then she's, I tried to save you, from the gun-toting murderer. So she's like, you can trust me. So as they're walking through the sewer system, they've now been able to access his memories, and they can see his memories in windows throughout the sewer system. And she sees memories of him training, memories of him at his parents' funeral. And then she was basically just calling him an entitled douchebag. But then there's a memory that that she sees when he's talking to Alfred, and he's just like, oh, I must become a symbol, Alfred, because criminals will fear the symbol or whatever. And then that's when she was just like, like in this moment right here, you actually don't sound like a conceited rich douchebag. It's like, you kind of sound like Batman. And then it hit her that Bruce Wayne is actually Batman. And then she was like, it all makes sense. And then now she's going through the whole motion. She's going through his memories. She sees him fighting the Riddler, fighting Penguin, fighting Two-Face, fighting everybody. And then she was just like, dude, she was like, now that I think about it, this is actually kind of badass, And then she said, I'm starting to understand where you're coming from. It's like, I'm starting to see, like what sparked you, like how you turned into this person. And then there was a moment where the guy that killed his parents, he ends up showing back up again. And then the two of them jump through one of the memories, which ends up being a memory with the old Robin, with the old Batman and Robin. So now we're back in Adam West territory. And then it's like, like the holy rusted metal Batman and the holy profanity of things I can't say Batman. And then like the Joker's there, and like Harley's there from Batman the Animated Series, like it was Harley and like in the old like Harley Quinn garb, and then like the Joker, they were fighting. She even had like the stupid accent with the Mr. J and everything, and I thought that was a nice touch, which was hilarious as well. Like kudos to the original voice actress that plays Harley Quinn. And they're doing the whole thing where Harley ended up being transported into the body of Robin, and then she was strapped to the rocket or whatever, and then Batman comes out of nowhere and saves her, and now Harley and Batman, they're together back to back, and they're doing the Bam Pow Zing or whatever. And then she was just like, she's like, beating up criminals is actually pretty fun. And like they're beating up the Joker, beating up Harley, and then after they beat them up, whatever, that's when her and Batman actually had a conversation, because at that moment Batman knew that was Harley. He acknowledged Harley. He was just like, he was like, you can't tell my secret of being Batman. The two of them actually had a legit conversation. And then the gun guy comes back. When the gun guy comes back, Bruce went from being normal, like going back to his old self in his own mind, but then when he saw the gun again, he reverted back to being a child, because that's his most painful memory. And then Harley had asked for his permission to be a psychiatrist, and then she told him to focus on the happiest memory he could find, which was a memory about the last Christmas he and his family had before they were murdered. So they're taken to that room now. They're having that conversation, and then they're talking about Frank. And then that's when Bruce told her, she was like, yeah, I did take your friend Frank. He said I took your friend Frank because at first I thought Ivy was doing bad things to him and I was trying to save him. Then when I realized what his powers were and what he could do, then my priorities shifted a little bit. And then based on all the psychoanalysts and everything that's going on with him, with his trauma, with his parents, that's when it dawned on Harley, he's going to try to use Frank to bring his dead parents back to life. And then at that moment, that's when the gun guy came back that killed his parents. And then when she was like, if you're gonna shoot a kid, at least take off your mask, like, you coward. Then when he took off his mask, it ended up being Bruce Wayne. And she was just like, how does this make sense? And then Bruce said that he needs the kid back because they got to go back to that memory. He said the reason why he's Batman, the reason why he can be Batman, is because of the guilt and the shame that he feels because he blames himself for his parents' murder. He said that what happened back then was his dad wanted him to go to a shareholders meeting so he can learn about the family business. Instead, he wanted to go see the Mark Zorro, not the Antonio Banderas version, but the black and white version. And then his dad ended up folding and took him to go see the movie. But he said he was so inspired when he watched the movie, he was so excited, or the Gray Ghost, if you watch the animated series. He said he was so inspired by it. He was basically like on his own adrenaline juice. And I always thought that was stupid, because the one thing about Bruce's parents' death that always bothered me was if they went to the movie theater and they came out of the movie theater, how the hell did they end up in Crime Alley if Alfred was right there in the car the whole time? That always bothered me, but at least we got an answer for that in this particular episode. He told Harley that he wanted to walk home because he was just juiced up and fired up after watching the Mark Zorro. And then that's when the guy came in the alley and killed his parents and everything. And then he said that he blames himself. And because he blames himself and because it's his fault, he has to relive that shame every single day so he'll never forget. And then that's when Harley was like, listen, she said that you can hold on to the memory of your parents, but you still have to move on and you still have to learn how to move on. And then like he insisted that he takes the kid. But then Harley was just like, okay, she was like, first of all, I got to talk to the real you anyway, because it's too messed up in here and I can't even deal with all this. So she lets the kid go back with the murderer. They go back to the memory. Harley gets transported out of the memory. Bruce Wayne himself wakes up. And then when Harley wakes up, she's in Wayne Manor's living room tied up along with Ivy and along with Clayface. And I think Psycho was there too. And then when Harley was like, what happened? Were we always in Wayne Manor? She was like, Ivy was like, no, Bruce Wayne hired the Bat Brats to beat us up about to knock us out. And then she was just like, what a sellout. And I was just like, really? You haven't figured this out yet? But then Harley can't tell because she said patient, patient doctor confidentiality privilege, so she can't spill the beans even if she wanted to, but she can spill the beans on what his evil plan is. And it's weird because Bruce Wayne is the villain of Harley Quinn season 3. This whole thing is about him trying to resurrect his dead parents, and then she was trying to get Alfred to stop him because she was like, he's going to use Frank to resurrect his dead parents because he changed his formula power. And then Ivy was like, that's not even possible. She was like, is it? And then when he, they saw Bruce by his parents' grave, he pumped the juice into the floor. The green juice from Frank got pumped into the floor. It got into his parents. His parents came back, but not in the way that matters and not in the way that we wanted. That was extremely gross. And we're going to get zombies in the next episode with Bruce's parents. That was it. And thank you for tuning in. This was very funny. Like, the nostalgia in this episode was ridiculous. It was done in a very good way, and I appreciated it. And I'm actually looking, because I think we only get 2 more episodes. I think Harley's only getting 10 episodes, and we're already up to episode 8. So we got 2 episodes coming in the chamber. I am greatly looking forward to this, and I want to see what's going to happen now. It's a shame that we actually didn't see the Bat family. We didn't see Barbara. We didn't see, Nightwing. We didn't see Robin. We didn't even see Alfred dressed up as whoever the hell the Alfred was, the judge or whatever the hell he is, the crumpet or whatever. But yeah, I'm hooked. This isn't the type of series where you're supposed to be like hanging on to the storyline, and I'm actually hung on to the storyline now because I want to see where it goes. So like I said, thank you for tuning in. As always, hit me up on Twitter and Instagram. Share your questions, comments, and or concerns down below. Let me know what you thought about this episode of Harley Quinn. Did you love it? Did you hate it? And everything in between. I have She-Hulk on the trailer, dear God. Check out my review for the She-Hulk trailer, which actually, I thought it was a decent episode, but all that fluff and BS surrounding it, yeah, check out the review if you want to hear my actual thoughts on She-Hulk. And Stargirl is back, ladies and gentlemen, so please go on my channel and check out episode 1, season 3 of Stargirl. So thank you for tuning in as always. So till next time, everybody, keep your emotions in check, hide your memories from evil clown psychiatrists, and till next week for some more Harley Quinn action. Take care as always. And for the Batman, I'm out this